conservative. At a certain point, I was just able to, obviously I went to a school that was heavily liberal. I mean, everyone was liberal. I was beginning to see the way that President Bush, George W. Bush, was being treated. Maligning, defamation, everything they could do. Everything they could do. And to me, it was this knee-jerk, pathological hatred for the president. And I found it to be very disgusting, the way he was being treated and mocked and disrespected.
Some would say, oh, wait a minute. Look what's happened to Barack Obama.
Well, that is one of my criticisms. Well, that's one of my tactical criticisms. I think that there certainly is this tendency to monitor his every move and editorialize about very petty things. Like, for instance, I remember there was a big conservative outcry over the fact that he ordered mustard, or Dijon mustard, instead of American ketchup on his burger. I'm like, see, this is exactly the sort of thing. And then just recently there was a panel on CNBC about the fact that he gave Rahm Emanuel a hug instead of a dignified handshake. I'm like, come on, guys, this is the sort of thing. Like, if we suddenly become what the left was like, during the, but I don't think that we're anywhere near that yet. But I'm just beginning to see harbingers of it, and it's a little off-putting to me because we shouldn't. First of all, the office of the president commands our respect, and the fact is, it makes us seem desperate if we're constantly, incessantly monitoring.
Maybe loses some credibility.
Exactly. Let's focus on the issues.
Okay, Christian. You said, I've told you this many times. You said something to me on a radio show once when you were on the show the first time that I just loved what you said. I don't know if you can capture that moment, that magic right now. But you said, look, conservative filmmakers, and I'm not a filmmaker, but the spirit of what you said I related to, need to focus on their passion and not creed. Tell us what you said.
Okay, well, look, if you want to be, I think a lot of conservatives have rightfully noticed that the fact is, this is a fact, that the left has culturally dominated mainstream media and pop culture for the past few generations.
Right.
Probably it's not since the era of Billy Wilder that there was predominance of conservative thought in films. So that's and culture is frankly like what I was saying. Pop culture is what my generation responds to the most. And the thing is that I think a lot of conservative activists have rightfully noticed that we need to get to confront the left in these mediums and that battle turf. But
as an artist, you said the conservative filmmaker needs to
focus on the content. Like you have if you're gonna swoop into that medium, you have to treat the medium with the dignity that it deserves. You have to be focusing on the content, on the film.
And through that, your message will naturally come out.
Exactly. Like for instance, me as a filmmaker, when I make a film, I'm focused on the film, on making a great film. And by the way, I happen to be a conservative, and all of my work is a byproduct of my identity. So if I was in this hurry to promote a conservative message using film, it's not going to be effective because the fact is, there's just so many Christian films and some conservative stuff that it's not effective because it's all about the message and not about the content. It should be focused on the content, and the message will come naturally. And my analogy that I always use is, obviously John Lennon was a very influential figure for the New Left, but he didn't wake up every day and say, how can I write a song that advances the leftist agenda? He happened to be a great musician. He happened to be a leftist, and that's why he was so influential.
Right. I mean,
we should be doing the same thing.
That makes a great message. Some might say it's simple, but the simplicity is its brilliance. How did you like what did you have for lunch?
I had a portobello mushroom ravioli tortellini.
We're at the Riva Durchi's at 4th University in San Diego. What did you get? Lasagna, huh?
Yes.
How was the portobello mushroom?
Delicious. I have a knack for mushrooms. It's kind of an Eastern European thing to do. So my parents have got me hooked on mushrooms, and I like it. It's delicious.
Eastern Europeans like to go and pick mushrooms.
Yes. Oh, I love doing that too. We actually did that when we went to Canada as well this past.
Lasagna was good.
It was excellent. Yeah, this is a great lab.
It's a
Yeah,
great
it's
place.
delicious. It's cozy, friendly.
They were one of our initial sponsors, and Anthony, has become a very good friend of mine. The owner came here from Sorrento. Any final comments, Gabriel?
Sure. Well, we want to, Christian and I both want to gauge younger people in, our respective realms. I want to do it more through writing and activism. Christian, of course, will do the same, but substantiate it with film. But we have to, communicate to our generation, whether it's a blog post, whether it's a tweet, whether it's videos. I want to emphasize, having videos that promote events that reach to people who kind of strike a chord in their hearts and minds. And that's essentially what I'd love to do.
Final comments?
I think our country is in a dire circumstance right now. It is very dire, and those of us that understand it the most see how dire it is. However, I really think that, honestly, most of my generation would understand the dire nature of our circumstance if we simply simplify our message, because it's a beautifully simple message, what we stand for. We need to put the emphasis on what we stand for, and not so much who we stand against. And what we stand for is the notion that federal government has three distinct purposes: the administration of justice, the preservation of order, and the protection of the American people, national security. And any time that the government veers from that, it becomes too powerful, too bureaucratic, and and diminishes the power of the individual over the state. That's our message. It's so simple, and we need to not overcomplicate it with too much of this, the theatrical rhetoric. I think that it's absolutely serious what our country faces, but I think people will recognize that if we simply clarify our message.
All right, listen, I want to thank you for joining us on Amato Talk TV today. I'm Rick Amato. You met two of my friends, filmmaker Christian Hartzog, president of Young Americans for Freedom at UC San Diego, Gabriella Hoffman, and our two young conservatives who are out bringing the message to their age group and enrolling younger folks in conservative ideology.